Hey guys, welcome back to the Purpose of Money podcast. Today I'm super excited. We're joined with Rocky Lalvani, and we're going to talk about why you should focus on profit first as a business owner. Rocky Lalvani serves as Chief Profitability Adviser for business owners. He teaches them how to ensure they get paid and make profit a priority. Rocky, thank you so much for being on the Purpose of Money. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here with you today.
So I'm excited because this is a conversation that I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs have, and they reference the profit first method quite often, maybe not always giving credit to the author, but not everybody truly understands how to implement it in their business. So before we hop into that amazing topic of conversation, I'd like to learn a little bit more about Rocky, what life was like for you when you were growing up, specifically money and how your family handled it.
So, I didn't realize how not normal it was when I was growing up because when I grew up, my family was immigrants here and they would get together with their friends and relatives and they would talk about money and they would discuss how they were doing things, how much things cost, how much they spent on things. And so it wasn't a normal conversation where money was taboo. And that's what I learned growing up. Now, being an immigrant, my parents started over, so we didn't have a lot to begin with, but very quickly they were able to move up the economic ladder. And a lot of the people around us had tremendous success in coming to America and building the American dream. And so I got to watch a lot of that happen. I think a couple of things underlying it were how do you live a abundant life without spending an abundance of money? So being somewhat constrained. And then also just the opportunity that's here and the ability to go out and take it. Like not in a negative sense, but you have so much opportunity. The expectation is you will take advantage of that and go out and do your best.
No, I really like that. And I want to kind of give people a little bit of background. Prior to this interview, I learned that your parents immigrated to the United States when you were 2 years old. So you have this experience of not only starting over, but your parents were, what, in their 40s or so, and they have you as a child. Do you have any siblings?
No, I'm only child.
Only me too. So you as a child, but this goal to make a better life for you as a family, but also starting over. What did your parents decide to do economically? What careers or entrepreneurship tracks did they take to make that path a little bit smoother for them?
When they came over, they ran into a couple of roadblocks. My mother was a math teacher, and so she went to school, working in schools and so forth. My dad, they owned a pharmacy back in India, but when he came here, the pharmacy degree was worthless. He ended up going to work for other people. I don't know what happened, honestly, because I know that as a young person, my dad was much more entrepreneurial and much more of a risk taker. But when they came here, he seemed more content at just being okay with where he was. So my dad never made a ton of money, but whatever money he made, we lived a good life on. So we traveled the world, even though we didn't have massive incomes and so forth. But he gave me the foundation to build my wealth.
I love that because that is so important that people understand it doesn't always take a lot of money to live a good life. And it's always about what you prioritize. And I am an avid traveler who shows my children the world. And I totally agree that it doesn't matter how much you make, it's how you prioritize what you have. So your parents did an excellent job because now you're helping people with their money. So let's hop into the subject of what you focus on. You are a profitability advisor. What does that mean? What is this profit first method and why should business owners be using it?
So my first kind of real aha And the reason that I started focusing here, I just assumed if you were a business owner, you understood the business of business. And the biggest aha I got was, oh, wait, people went into business to do what they love, and accounting wasn't on the list. Well, let's face it, if you're going to run a business and you don't understand the finances, you're going to struggle. And I think if you look at small business stats, many businesses don't make it to 5 years, hardly any make it to 10 years, and most of them struggle with their money. They might grow top line revenue massively. I talk to business owners, millions in revenue, but nothing to show for it. And that's just the reality of the situation that nobody talks about. You think they're doing super well, but when you actually look at how much they get to keep at the end of the day, it's a very tiny amount. And that's really what Profit First was designed to solve. Mike is a serial entrepreneur himself. He actually owned a forensic accounting company. They investigated Enron, they investigated high profile divorces, trying to figure out where all the money is and so forth. That business was never profitable. It wasn't profitable until he sold it and he got his big payday. And once he got his big payday, he thought he was really a business genius. And within the next couple of years, he lost it all to the point that they were coming for the keys to the house and the car. Yeah.
Wow.
That's where Profit First came from. That's where Mike's like, wait a minute. He changed his whole purpose to we want to end entrepreneurial poverty. We want to help business owners be better at business. And how do we go about doing this? Profit First is just one of many books he's written. It seems to be one of the most popular, and it's really taken off from that. But Profit First is exactly what it says. Too often we're told by our accountants, hey, the formula is sales minus expenses equals profit, which means it's a leftover. It's something you find at tax time, where the questions are always, okay, you said I'm profitable. Where is that money? And how am I supposed to pay those taxes? And that's what most business owners go through. And the accountants just laugh and go, you spent it. Because too often we reinvest it or we spend it recklessly in our businesses. Profit First changes the equation to sales minus profit equals expenses. Pay yourself first. You've heard this, right? Business finance, it's all the same principles. Take your money, give it a purpose, send it to do that purpose up front, and things all work out well. So it's based on the envelope system, which do your listeners know about the envelope system?
Yes. So, but I'll
Okay.
explain it really quickly. So, for those who don't know, the envelope system, it originally started out like that cash-based system where you actually had real envelopes and you would take your paycheck and you would put money into each envelope to account for each expense, whether it be food or housing when it comes to personal. But in your business, it could be your operating expenses, it could be profit, it could be long-term goals, right? But the idea is that you're going to take all the income that comes in and you're going to give it a purpose, just like you said. Now, in the profit first method, there's very specific purposes we give our money. So help us understand what envelopes should we have?
So what Mike realized is as a business, we couldn't have our money sitting in envelopes. So we use bank accounts and banks will work with you on this. So it's no big deal. Find one that gives you free bank accounts. All the money comes into one account. That's the income account. This way you can see how much money came in. It's clear as day how much you received. If everything's in one account, that becomes a very murky question. Once the money comes into one account, based on set percentages, you send your money where it belongs. So profit comes first. So we set a set percentage to profit. Then we set a set percentage to your pay because most business owners pay themselves last, and that's not fair. You're the one who took the risk, you're the one who did the work. Why are you last? Right? That's not fair. So we make sure that you get paid. Next is taxes. The IRS comes after you. So we want to make sure we have money that is theirs allocated for them. So we set aside our business taxes and our taxes for our personal needs that are based on the business. Everything that's left goes into the operating expense account. So now you truly know how much you have to operate your business on. Some businesses will create additional accounts for special purposes. So it's highly customizable to whatever those needs are. And then you go ahead and you allocate your money on a set rhythm. So you could do it weekly, Mike recommends twice a month. Some businesses get away with once a month, but don't do it more often than weekly. Don't do it. The only reason you would do it less often than monthly is if you're a kind of business that gets a large payment a few times a year. Then you would do it when you get your large payment. Otherwise, set a rhythm, follow the rhythm, send your money to where it belongs for the purpose it belongs. And that natural constraint will help you to stay within what your spending should be.
I really like that, especially the emphasis on what spending should be, because I think you're right. Sometimes, as an entrepreneur, when we come into these lump sum payments or large payments, we're like, yes, finally, I've made it. And then the money's gone, whether it's a couple of weeks or a couple of months. I mean, look at how many businesses got PPP loans, right? In the pandemic, and then the money was gone, right? And they were like, what did I spend it on? Let me try to remember where are the receipts. And then you're just trying to catch up or figure it out. And after the fact, it's a little harder. And then once it's spent, you can't even get it back. So this does require discipline. What are some of your tips for someone who wants to get started after they've created their multiple bank accounts, same bank, preferably? What else should they do? Because for some people, this might be an adjustment, especially if they're seasoned entrepreneurs who have been operating very differently for years.
So, this is one of those things that you kind of ease into it. And so in the book, Mike gives you target account percentages. For a seasoned entrepreneur, you might not be at those targets. So it's not going to work. You have to start with where you are today. So figure out, what do you really need for operating expenses? What's your pay? If you don't have profit and tax savings, we start them at 1%, taking that baby step. And then over a time, every quarter, we make baby step changes. And little by little, we start moving from where we are today to where the targets are in the book, or some people exceed the targets, which is awesome. Congratulations. But it's at least giving you a path forward. We tell most business owners it's probably going to take 2.5 years to get from where you are to where you need to be. You cannot make abrupt changes in your business. It takes time to get out of contracts or make changes or change the way you do things. So, all of these things will happen slowly. And it also takes time to increase prices if that's what needs to be done. So, it's taking the little steps a little bit at a time.
I love that you set that tone of reality, because when I first read the book, I was thinking, oh my God, how do you do all of these things? I've been doing it this way, and the adjustment might literally discourage me, right, from getting started. So setting a timeline of 2 years and giving yourself each quarter to make more adjustments is such great advice. And I think it lowers the anxiety level, right? Because now you have a plan and you know that you should target getting set up first, like setting up those bank accounts, setting up those digital envelopes. But then maybe, like you said, in order to make yourself more profitable, you do need to raise your prices. I tell people all the time, whether they're an entrepreneur or an employee, that if the math isn't mathing on the expenses and the life they want to live, it's probably a sign that they need to actually increase what they make. Whether that mean get another job that pays you more for your skills, or develop new skills that will make you more valuable to companies, or making more money. Sometimes we're just not making enough. So I'm so glad you said that, because some people, that is the eye opener when they're like, wait a minute, I am not charging market rates, or I'm not profitable, like literally realizing I'm not profitable. But one thing that you said that I think is also really important and could apply to business owners or personal finances is knowing your numbers. That is key to this structure. If you don't actually know how much you make and how much you spend and what it takes to run your business, it's going to be very difficult for you to set up this system, because you're not going to have numbers to figure out what you need. But I think if we go through the statements, we go through the credit card bills, we go through the invoices and the receipts, that helps you get a better sense of your numbers. Would you agree?
I would very much agree. I think a lot of business owners are not necessarily using some sort of accounting software. And so if you're not using some sort of accounting software or a good Excel sheet and you don't know where your money is going, then that's problem number one. Can you implement profit first if you don't have a good accounting system? Absolutely. Because it doesn't matter. Start with guesses and see how it goes. And little by little, you make changes. So it doesn't matter where you are today, the system can overlay on top of any type of business at any stage in any shape.
So basically, just get started. I love that. And full transparency, guys, I'm going to share a little secret with you. I started my business in 2016 when I got licensed to sell life insurance. And for 5 years, I used Excel spreadsheets to manage the money. And my CPA totally worked with me on it the whole time. But in the back of his mind, he was like, this chick needs an accounting system. This chick needs a better accounting system. So he would always check my work, my numbers, receipts, everything. But then I grew up, right? I made more money in the pandemic than I ever had before. And I realized I needed an assistant, I needed an accounting software. And now I'm in love. I'm not going to name the software I use because they are not sponsoring this podcast episode, but I do agree with you that there are quite a few out there and you should definitely get one. And I will probably provide in the show notes a link for resources. So check out the show notes for more tips. I'll also definitely include a link to Profit First. So if you want to read it and jump right into this new system, you should. I definitely think it is something that will change your business for the better. And most importantly, give yourself patience because, as Rocky noted, this might be a system that takes you a couple of years to implement if you're a seasoned entrepreneur and you are pivoting the way you do business. But if you're a brand new entrepreneur, this is a great way to get started on the right track. Rocky, the name of the show is called The Purpose of Money. And I ask all my guests this question: what is your purpose for money?
Freedom. It's literally about freedom, freedom to be able to do what I want, how I want, when I want. So it's not about accumulating wealth or having fancy things. It's about having time freedom,
I love that.
the ability to just say yes or no. And that's a big part of it.
And that is a huge thing for most people, being able to say no because they just don't want to do it and not having to always say yes because they need the money. So I love that answer. I want to know, you're a chief profitability advisor. So if somebody wants to work with you, what does that look like? What is the process that someone goes through to work with Rocky?
So we have programs designed for every size business. So for businesses that are just starting out, we have a course. The course teaches profit first. It gives you all the spreadsheets and it does a lot more than just profit first. So we help you with all of your accounting, your forecasting, your cash flow management. It's everything we do for our one-on-one clients. And the course also comes with support. So it's not one of these courses like go watch the videos and good luck. It's, hey, if you've got a question specific to your business, we'll answer it. And depending on the level of support, we give you tremendous support within that. Or it comes down to one-on-one consulting. Usually those are larger, more established businesses, but anywhere in that spectrum, we do it. And then we teach everything that we do, and we go through the entire Profit First book on our podcast, Profit Answer Man, where we teach everything that we do for our clients.
Oh, I love it. So I'll definitely drop links to the podcast and your website in the show notes so folks can figure out how to connect with you. Is there any other space or place where they can connect? Are you on social media?
Yeah, if you Google my name, you'll find a million places to connect. So wherever you are, I'm there. It's fine. Find me wherever you'd like. And I'm on pretty much most of the social platforms.
All right, you heard it here first, guys. If you are an entrepreneur or aspiring entrepreneur, you should prioritize profit first in your business. Follow the methodology shared in this episode. Definitely read the book And connect with Rocky if you want to take your business to the next level, whether it be through learning through the course or one-on-one consultations. Rocky, thank you so much for being on the show today. This was super exciting and a really good interview to help my listeners learn how to put profit first in their business. Thank you so much.
Can I ask your listeners a favor?
Sure.
If you guys like this show, would you say thank you by sharing it with someone who might learn from this? Or, at the least, go ahead and hit like, maybe leave a review or something. It's a nice way to say thank you.
I love it. And it's absolutely free. It just takes you a moment of your time. Rocky, I love that. Listeners, take action. Listen to Rocky. He knows what he's talking about. And until next time, guys, keep building generational wealth.